There's a reason this message found you today. Something in you recognized it before your mind could process the words. Messages like this don't appear randomly. They find people who've been carrying weight for so long they've forgotten what lightness feels like. Weight placed on small shoulders before you understood that none of it belonged to you. Before you knew that what happened would echo through every relationship, every choice, every quiet moment of self-doubt for decades. You've lived with this so long you've started believing it defines you. The pain feels like personality. The wounds feel like identity. But they aren't. They never were. This message reached you because you're finally ready to hear something that will crack you open or set you completely free. The cycle ends here. Not eventually. Not once you're perfectly healed. Right now, this moment marks the beginning of breaking patterns that have run through your bloodline, your relationships, your entire existence. Let me tell you what nobody explains about trauma. It doesn't just live in memory. It lives in your body, in the way you flinch when voices rise, in the way you apologize for things you didn't cause, in the way you can't accept love without waiting for betrayal, in the way you sabotage good things because somewhere deep you don't believe you deserve them. That's not you being difficult or broken. That's your nervous system running programming installed when you were 5 or 10 or 15. Programming that encoded, the world isn't safe, people will hurt you, you must be perfect to earn love, your needs don't matter, speaking up brings punishment. You've been operating from that programming ever since, making adult decisions with the emotional software of a traumatized child. And you didn't even know it was happening because trauma doesn't announce itself. It just becomes the background hum of your entire existence. Here's what makes it so insidious. The people who hurt you were probably hurt too. Your father, who couldn't show affection, learned that from his father. Your mother, who was emotionally unavailable, was likely neglected herself. The person who abused you, who violated your trust, who made you feel worthless, they were probably carrying their own unhealed wounds. I'm not saying this to excuse them. I'm saying it so you can see the cycle. This pain didn't start with you. It's been passing through generations like a curse nobody knew how to break. Your grandmother carried it. Your parents carried it. Now you're carrying it. And if you don't stop it, if you don't face it, if you don't heal it, you'll pass it on too. Maybe to your children, maybe to your relationships, maybe just to future versions of yourself who deserve better. But it will continue unless you decide right here, right now, that it ends with you. Imagine walking through life carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Heavy, jagged rocks. Each rock represents something that was done to you. The father who said you'd never amount to anything. The mother too depressed to see you. The person who touched you when you didn't want to be touched. The relationship that convinced you love meant pain. The childhood where you had to grow up too fast because the adults couldn't be adults. Rock after rock after rock. You've been carrying this backpack so long you don't remember what it feels like to walk without it. You've built your entire life around the weight. You've convinced yourself this is just how heavy life is, that everyone carries this much. But they don't. And the worst part, most of those rocks were never yours. They were handed to you by people carrying their own backpacks who didn't know what else to do with the weight. So they gave it to you, a child, someone who couldn't say no, someone who couldn't understand this wasn't normal. And you've been carrying their pain ever since, thinking it was yours, believing you deserved it. Now here's where this gets uncomfortable. I need to tell you something you might not be ready to hear, but you need to hear it. It wasn't your fault. Whatever happened to you, whatever was done to you, whatever you endured, it wasn't your fault. I know you've heard those words before. I know people have said them, and they bounced off you like they meant nothing, because deep down you don't believe it. Deep down there's still a part of you that thinks if you had been better, smarter, quieter, more obedient, more lovable, it wouldn't have happened. But that's the lie trauma tells you. That's the story the wounded child inside you has been repeating for decades. And it's time to stop believing it. Because that child, that innocent version of you who experienced things no child should experience, They didn't do anything wrong. They were just a kid, a beautiful, innocent, deserving kid who got hurt by damaged people in a damaged world. And they've been waiting all these years for someone to tell them it's okay, that they're safe now, that they're loved. And that someone is you. If you're feeling something shift as you receive these words, please consider subscribing. This channel exists to reach people exactly when they need these messages most, and your support helps ensure the next person who needs to hear this will find it. Thank you for being here. Now let's continue. There was a man, let's call him David, 52 years old, successful career, good family. From the outside, everything looked fine. But David spent his entire adult life feeling like he wasn't enough, like he was one mistake away from everyone realizing he was a fraud, like he didn't deserve the good things he had. He couldn't figure out why until one day in therapy he was asked to close his eyes and picture himself as a 7-year-old boy. When he did, something broke open. He saw that little boy sitting alone in his room, trying to be perfect, trying to be invisible, trying not to upset his alcoholic father. And he realized that 7-year-old was still running his life, still trying to be perfect, still afraid of making mistakes, still believing that love was conditional. That boy had been carrying the weight of his father's anger for 45 years, thinking it was his job to manage everyone else's emotions, to never need anything, to always be okay. And David at 52 finally looked at that 7-year-old and said something no one had ever said to him. It wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve that. And I'm going to take care of you now. And he wept, not because he was weak, but because that child inside him had finally been seen. This is the work. This is what breaking the cycle actually looks like. It's not about forgetting what happened. It's not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about finally seeing the wounded child inside you and offering them what they never received: compassion, safety, love. And it starts with a practice that might feel strange at first, but I promise you it changes everything. Find a picture of yourself as a child, the youngest one you have. Really look at it, not with judgment, not with the eyes of someone who spent years hating themselves, but with the eyes of someone meeting a child for the first time. Look at that face. Look at those eyes. Look at that innocence. And ask yourself, would you hurt that child? Would you blame them for what adults did to them? Would you tell them they deserved it? No, you wouldn't. Because you can see what you couldn't see about yourself, that they were just a kid, pure, innocent, undeserving of pain. That child is still inside you, still carrying the wounds, still waiting for you to see them, to tell them they're safe now, to tell them it's over. Here's what you do. Put that picture somewhere you'll see it every day, on your mirror, on your desk, on your phone. And every time you feel that old shame rising, every time you hear that voice telling you you're not enough, every time you feel the weight of what was done to you, look at that picture and speak to that child. Out loud if you can, silently if you must, but speak to them. Tell them, you didn't deserve what happened to you, but I'm going to make sure your life is different now. I'm going to give you the love you should have had. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to let you be happy because you deserve it. You always did. At first it's going to feel ridiculous. It's going to feel like you're talking to a photograph. But keep doing it because slowly something shifts. That child inside you starts to believe it, starts to feel safe, starts to trust that maybe finally someone is going to take care of them. And that someone is you. Now let's talk about the thing no one wants to talk about: forgiveness. And I need you to hear me clearly on this. Forgiveness is not about them. It's not about saying what they did was okay. It's not about reconciliation. It's not about letting them back into your life. Forgiveness is about releasing the hold they have on you. Because right now, whoever hurt you, they're still controlling your life. They're still taking up space in your head, still dictating how you feel about yourself, still affecting your relationships, your choices, your peace. And they might not even know it. They might be dead. They might have forgotten what they did, but you're still carrying it. You're still letting what they did 30 years ago determine who you are today. Forgiveness is how you take that power back. It's how you say, what you did was wrong. It hurt me. It shaped me in ways it shouldn't have. But I'm not going to let it define the rest of my life. I'm not going to give you any more of my years. It ends now. And here's the part people struggle with most. You have to forgive yourself too. Because I know you've been blaming yourself. I know there's a part of you that thinks you should have been stronger, should have said no, should have left earlier, should have known better. But you were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. You were surviving. And survival is not pretty. Survival is messy and complicated, and sometimes it means making choices you wish you hadn't. But you made it through. You're still here. That child inside you who made those choices, who stayed in situations they shouldn't have stayed in, who believed lies they shouldn't have believed. They were just trying to survive. They don't need your judgment. They need your compassion. They need you to look at them and say, I forgive you for not knowing what you couldn't have known. I forgive you for staying when you didn't know how to leave. I forgive you for believing you deserved it. You didn't. But I understand why you thought you did. And I'm going to help you see the truth now. Here's what happens when you do this work. When you finally see the wounded child inside you, when you speak to them with love, when you forgive yourself and the people who hurt you, not for them but for you, something extraordinary happens. The weight starts to lift. Not all at once, not overnight, but slowly. You start to notice you're walking lighter, breathing easier, reacting differently. That hair-trigger anger that's been protecting you for years, it softens. That wall you built around your heart, it starts to come down. That voice that's been telling you you're not enough, it gets quieter. Because you've finally given that wounded child what they've been desperate for all along. A parent, a protector, someone who sees them and loves them exactly as they are. And that someone is you. The adult you. The version of you who survived everything that happened and is still here, still standing, still capable of breaking this cycle. Before we go further, if this is resonating deeply with you, if you're recognizing yourself in these words, please hit that subscribe button. You being part of this community matters because together we're breaking cycles that have run for generations. Your presence here amplifies this message for everyone who needs it. Thank you. Now let's complete this. Breaking the cycle doesn't just change you. It changes everyone who comes after you. Your children, if you have them, they won't inherit this wound. Your relationships won't be haunted by ghosts of the past. Your future self won't be running from pain that happened decades ago. Because you decided to stop, to turn around, to face the thing you've been running from your entire life. And in facing it, in finally giving yourself the love and compassion you deserved all along, you break the chain. You become the one who says, it ends here with me. I will not pass this on. I will not let this define one more generation. This stops now. The truth is you've been carrying weight that was never yours for far too long. Rocks that were placed in your backpack by people who didn't know what else to do with their own pain. And you've been so focused on just surviving the weight that you forgot you could put it down. But you can. Right now, in this moment, you can look at each rock, acknowledge what it represents, thank it for trying to protect you, and let it go. You can see the wounded child inside you, the one who's been waiting all these years to be loved, and finally give them what they need. You can forgive the people who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. You can forgive yourself for carrying this as long as you did, for believing the lies, for thinking you deserved the pain. And you can make a choice that changes everything. The cycle ends here with you. Not because you're perfect, not because you've healed completely, but because you finally decided that the pain stops here. That you will not pass this wound to another generation. That you will not let what was done to you define who you become. This message found you to remind you that you have the power to heal. That the child inside you is still waiting. That forgiveness is possible. That the weight can be put down. That you're not defined by what was done to you. And that the cycle, the pattern, the pain that's been running through your family, your relationships, your entire life, it can end right here, right now with you. You just have to decide to see the child, to offer the love, to release the weight, to break the cycle. And when you do, when you finally let yourself heal, you won't just change your life. You'll change every life that comes after yours. Because you decided that the pain stops here, that this generation will be the one that finally breaks free. And that decision, that choice, that moment of courage, it changes everything. The cycle ends with you, and everything that comes after will be different. Not perfect, but free. Finally, beautifully free.